So what do I like to do?
So hold on a second. Let me start it off, okay? You ready?
Okay.
So welcome, Brian.
Hi, Vanessa.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to see that huge smile on your face.
Thank you.
So I'd love if you could start off by just telling us about something that you love doing that kind of makes your heart sing.
Something I love doing that makes my heart sing. Well, I'm working on it. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Tell us about that.
Well, sometime soon I'm going to be working with my spouse to open our own company to do a combination of management consulting, coaching, advising, and doing things with technology to make a difference in the world. So it's been sort of exciting to think about that. And to sort of back that up, I'm actually have delved into the world of information security and technology security.
Wow.
And that's been exciting. I've actually I've received a CISSP certification over the last 6 months, which is pretty difficult. And I've been studying security and I've been putting myself out there at work as far as, wanting to be known for being the security go-to person.
And what is it?
That's all.
Sorry.
That's all as a backing to Elise and I opening our own company.
Yeah. And
So
I'm curious, what is it about both the kind of management consultancy and IT security and also working with your partner that interests you? Like, what is it underneath that?
It's really doing something would make a huge difference in the world, have huge impact.
Yeah.
Right? Not being in the cube and being isolated, not doing work that can be rationalized as having impact in the world. Right? Anything can be rationalized as having impact.
Yeah.
But I actually want to get out there and have direct impact and direct making a difference, if you will.
Because
versus
what will
all
that give you?
Indirect that happen in the corporate world. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm curious. Okay, so what will that give you? If you're making a difference, what does that then give you?
Personal satisfaction, huge personal satisfaction, and a reason for being. A reason for being. That's it.
That's it. That's huge.
And that's all a result. Yeah, and this is all a result of the big 5-0 passing and going in the last couple of years thinking about what's the next 50 going to bring, why am I here, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
All that.
So
yeah.
For a lot of people, we get to kind of the big 5-0, and we just keep doing what we're doing even though it doesn't satisfy us. So I'm curious about what is it that's triggering you now, and kind of like, and what are some of the struggles that you're having to push up against?
Well, I mean, I'm a person who I don't like to sit back and do nothing. I need to finish things off. That's just my personality.
Yeah.
And as I'm into the second 50, I'm realizing, I'm coming up against a finite end here. We all have to eventually, right?
Yeah.
So it's a now or the other thing. I can either never do what I want to do or do it now. It's fairly binary. It's a yes/no choice. There's no gray there.
Yeah.
And I don't want the no choice. So the only choice is the yes choice. So I'm going to make it happen. It's actually quite simple.
That's great. And so I'm curious about what is it that's supporting you in making that choice?
Well, my spouse Elise is hugely supporting me in making that choice.
Yeah.
It actually makes all the difference in the world. I couldn't do it without that support.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's huge. And I've got two small boys, and they're a huge part of my life. So having that support to make that choice is absolutely necessary.
Yeah. And kind of, do you have moments where it gets a bit tough? It gets a bit hard, and it feels like, oh, I'm pushing something uphill?
Yeah, I sometimes, what I really run into is, do people at work see what I want? The senior executives at work, are they going to acknowledge that? Is it going to actually pay off? Not in terms of dollars, but in terms of responsibility.
Yeah.
And that can get frustrating at times because it's the business that I'm working for, and they have their business objectives, and it's hard to say how I roll into that because it's a changing company, and that can be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I just can't go out and do this security stuff on my own. That's not the point. The point is to open our own mixed IT security and management consulting firm, and you need to have a good legitimacy background so you can actually say I've worked for X company and I did this title, right? That's the backing that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with that piece, and that can be frustrating, but it's about sticking with it, and having a good attitude and putting myself out there where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So, if you were to, so I meet. Go on. Sorry. You continue.
I was going to say, it's like we learned about putting yourself out there in the space and changing the space, right? If I keep doing that right now, the way I'm doing it at work, then the space will change to accommodate me, right?
Mm.
I don't know what exactly that's. I'm going to find out. It may look good. It may not look good. But then, it's change, right? It's good.
Yeah, you make me think of the that old Einstein quote as well as like if you keep doing the same thing, in the same way, nothing's going to shift, is it? It's crazy. So, yeah.
That's right.
So if I meet people who want to do something different, they want to do more of what they love, but they're scared. And often, they can be at different stages of life. So midlife, and they'll come up with things like I'm too old or I'm too, whatever it is. What advice would you give someone like that from where you are now?
I would say that those kind of thoughts, when you give them power, it's just a way of talking yourself out of it, right? They're just thoughts. They're just reasons not to progress. I would say you need to acknowledge those reasons. Acknowledge them, and so you're not hiding from them. But then push forward anyway. Just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Don't let those reasons and fears get in your way. You can't ignore them. That's actually the wrong thing to do, to ignore them. You just need to acknowledge them and then move on.
So how would you do that? How do you acknowledge it? What does it sound like, or what do you do?
Well, for me, I just I think about it, or I'll talk to Elise about it. Talking to Elise actually helps out quite a bit because she can actually call it out.
Yeah.
And she can actually say, "Okay, Brian, you've called it out. Let's talk about it."
Yeah.
And that actually helps out a lot because then I can let it go.
Yeah. So it's like saying it's there. It's just a fear. It's normal. Let it go. That's so cool.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's fantastic. So I'm curious, what's the next step in your journey? Do you know?
Keep where I'm at right now, work-wise.
Yeah.
Keep getting that legitimacy in my industry and getting recognized at work. So that also if I can do that at work, even if I stay at work a couple more years, it gives my spouse, Elise, a chance to get our own company off and running under a good safety net.
Yes.
Right? Rather than my just going away from work, just work, right?
Yeah.
They don't work in the right mode, so I get legitimacy in the industry I'm in. Then when I eventually get over to our company, I'll bring that legitimacy with me, which will really help out. So that's my goal right now, is to keep on where I'm at, but keep on pushing. So the senior team knows what I want out of my career and how I can help increase the value of the company I'm at right now.
Yeah.
To get that legitimate.
It sounds
really eventually step away.
Yeah. It sounds really empowered, Brian.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does make sense.
Well, it is empowering because I'm in charge of my own destiny there. We all are, I should say. We're all in charge of our own destiny, whether we at work, that is, whether we realize it or not, in our day jobs. But I'm actually, mentally, I know that I am.
Yeah.
And, it's my choice to be there. It's my choice not to be there. It's my choice to be there in the capacity I want to be there. Yeah. Right? So that's my attitude right now.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Brian. It's really inspiring for anyone that's kind of, because often I think we get up to a point where we think we have to throw everything away in order to create the new. And what you're showing us is actually it's possible to hold a vision and to step forward into that.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be the simple thing to do would be to walk away from that job I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And then I start up our own company, right? But the risks to our family and to our finances would be huge.
Yeah.
Right? So I say, I'll stay where I'm at now, but stay in a different capacity, in a different mindset, right? In a different capacity in terms of stepping out and telling people at work what I need.
Yeah.
And to get that industry legitimacy I need to actually make our own business, when it gets going, even more successful, right?
Yeah.
And if they come back to 6 months and they say, Brian, we don't want you in this capacity, fine. Then I will, bite the bullet, step out, and make our own business succeed. And nobody will stop me.
I love the confidence, Brian. It's fantastic to hear.
Thanks.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Quite welcome.